So there's this girl that I seen on TikTok, and she was talking about sex, how people having sex with different type of people, with all type of people, and they don't even know who they having sex with. Well, I had a dream too, and my spirit had spoke to me, and it was telling me how babies that's being born that look certain ways, look like giants, or they come out sick or deformed. Well, that is part of the spirit of Nephilim, okay? That is part of having babies by entities, by fallen angels. That is what's going on in the industry, because God is exposing the fallen angels and how they move. That's the same thing that is going on in the industry with Marcel the rest. So y'all need to be very careful out here, because everything that look pure that you see, the handicap, not all kids that are handicapped is from God. Okay? It's a big deception that's going on. We don't know who real and who not real. It is all type of things that is happening, because so it's like a baiting, right? So it's like, first Satan get us to watch all type of things, right? And when we watch all type of things, he go deeper and deeper into what our eyes can see, right? And so once our eyes get exposed to certain type of levels of pain, or certain type of levels of hurt, or certain type of levels of deception, or to where the real things that our heart's supposed to feel and our heart's supposed to be genuine about and loving about, he exposed it to us all day, so our heart become numb, okay? And so when we do see the worst of things, like what's going on right now, is God is exposing what's really going on, what's really around us, what type of world we are dealing with, what type of world we are seeking, what type of world we live in. And instead of us being aware of it and changing our ways, coming from amongst sin, moving from amongst sin, learning the way that God want us to be, the way God want us to live, the more we getting exposed, the more we being worse, because now we know better. Okay? Now we know better. And so when that time come and you have your explanation to explain your part, you have no other choice but to, you either tell the truth, or it is what it is, because you know better at this point. All of us know better at this point of what we doing and how we doing it. Okay? So just like what's going on in industry, when they go up to the mountains, and all of them go up there to have this certain type of party that they have going on. It's like an orgy party, or whatever they doing up there. It's no good. It's down bad. It is blasphemy against God, whatever they doing up there with the fallen angels. And they doing all these things, having sex. And so this is what happened in the garden when Eve, bit off that apple. She learned the difference between good and evil. And when she learned the difference between good and evil, she still chose to do evil. And that's what made it worse. That's what made us being in our sins and not pure of what we sinning for. Okay, so it come a time when we to be children. That's why God said go back like kids, because it become a time where we be like kids. We be sinning, but we not knowing we sinning. And then when we get adults, it's like we know better, and instead of us doing better, we do the opposite. Okay? And it's like the more we learn, the more knowledge we get, the more we sin, because now we starting to know what is sin, and we still dipping and dabbing in it instead of turning from our wicked ways. We have to turn from our flesh in order to ride with the spirit. The spirit can't ride in sin. It cannot dwell in sin. It's an evil place, and it hate it. It cannot grow. It cannot be comfortable. It cannot live in sin. It's enough. It's already dwell within. So it's like you're choosing the broad way instead of the narrow way. And the narrow way is the way that Jesus took when he came down and he showed us the way. It is the way, it is the narrow way because it's good. And ain't too much in this world is good besides the way that God taught us. And so it is one way, and by its being one way, it is a narrow way. But all of us choosing to go to the broad way where there's numerous of ways to go because it makes you comfortable, but it's not really you, because you got to understand that you are not flesh. You are your spirit man that's living amongst in flesh. Okay. This is a temporary flesh that God give us to survive in a whole nother state of being. Because one thing about God is this is just another life form that he is teaching us about himself. Okay, this is another way that wisdom is being poured on people, but we are taking the wisdom and we are using it for wickedness instead of using it for goodness, instead of using it for mercy, instead of using it for grace, instead of using it to understand, okay, Lord, yes, I am in this darkness, but this grace and mercy that you are giving me, I have an opportunity to choose of where I want to go, what I want to do, and how I want to do it. And by he gave Jesus to demonstrate for us, we already know how we want to do it. So it is a choice. It's either our way or Jesus' way. It's no in between, and it's no other way. Either broad. So you either choose the broad way or you choose the narrow way. But I tell you one way, just because the broad way have more than one way and it feel funner and it feel like it's the right way, doesn't make it right. Okay? Because you have to understand this is another way of deception. Everything that we go through, everything that we do is a deception. And I know sometimes y'all don't be understanding what I'm saying, but it's just me letting it flow. So just like in the beginning, when God showed us the one way to go, when he taught us the one way to go, and then the enemy came down and he told us that we could be more like God. There is different ways to go and different ways you could know about. And Eve was like, well, yeah, I want to be like God. So let me go ahead on and take this advisor. Let me go ahead on and take this way. You know what I'm saying? If I could be more like God, then, you know, and that was where the deception came from. It's just like when the roadmap and you put the place that you want to go, and it shows you that place that you want to go. It gives you a roadmap to exactly to that place you want to go, right? But then you want to get there quicker, or you want to get there faster, or you want to get there not going the regular route. You want to go around. And that was the deception, because God said that it's only one way. No man, you can't jump the fence to get in. You can't cheat your way to get in. You can't go around to get in. You can't go under to get in. You can't go no other way but the one way he taught you. And it's like a needle in a haystack. And then the world tell you that when you are speaking or talking a certain type of sense, you have to sound like the world. No, when it coming to me, it could be different categories. If it's coming out, I'm letting it flow. It does not matter. And that's what y'all need to understand. Don't worry about what's in order. Just worry about how it's coming out and what you're hearing. Okay? Because just like the fallen angels, they knew better. They heard it. They knew everything about God. They didn't knew everything about God, but they knew the difference of good and evil, and they still chose to do evil. So stop trying to do it in perfect, because only God is perfect. Stop trying to do it in a world way to get approved from the world and get approved from God. If this the way I know how to speak it and say it, then it's my truth. It's the way I'm speaking it. So long as it's not a lie. And you know, I get these things stuck to me, you know, in my spirit. And I be so afraid to say it. I already be afraid to say it because I know how people look at me. And I only let people know the truth because that is what's coming to me in my spirit. But it come a time where lust You ain't gonna be able to control it. You ain't gonna be able to control it with the person you want to do it with. Whether it's a boy, whether it's a man, whether it's a little girl, a baby, a child, newborn, it does not matter. Sin, lust is gonna be lust. And I just pray we all understand that women defile the body, men defile the body. God gave us one way to make love to our partner, to our husband, and that is the natural way. And this is what God talking about when he said it's a broad way and it's a narrow way, and it's only righteous, only one way. So when it come down to interact with your spouse, it's one way to interact with your spouse. When it come down to putting it where it's supposed to go. Okay? If it's not the way that God naturally gave us, then every other way is defiled.
So I have more to talk to you guys about, but remember, it dwells in you, and I love you guys. Mwah.